calculated risks, and not just calculated, but that they are risks where you have used divination, you have used prayers, you have used candles, herbs, incense, crystals to support you in whatever it is you're desiring to manifest. You're creating an energetic team to help you heal what is keeping you in lack. You might have plenty of money and just don't feel like you're good enough to be desired in a relationship by somebody. It can be on so many levels.
Herbs, incense,
so we got in it, we learned our lesson, it even gave us a lesson of what like-minded people, what that really means, and why does it seem like we're so hard to connect with each other. So when we found out some of y'all was in Memphis, it was really exciting. It was like, that's dope. We got some people in Memphis. We got to do something. We got to think bigger. This is just bigger than YouTube. This is bigger, right? So we're working on that, but it takes time because we're coming out of so many layers of shit that just been piled on top of us and pounded in our heads. May the ancestors be good to our parents because they did the best they could with what they had, just like our grandparents. But a lot of the things that they taught us put us in a poverty mindset because that's where it came from. Religion told us that it was something very spiritual about being poor. And so for a long time, I would say, well, I'm poor, but that's all right. I got Jesus and I'm spiritual. Right? No, that's not okay. When your soul has a mission, especially for those of you who are here to heal other people, you need resources to do it. So when the Bible said that, the love of money is the root of all evil, what? We believed it, and because it was taught to us. But do you know what that belief does? When you think about the law of attraction, and you think about that belief, what that belief does is it disconnects you, it severs your pathway to abundance. Cut. Cord totally cut. Because if God lives within you and you believe that money is evil, the love of money is evil, but you also believe that God and love are synonymous terms. They both can accomplish all of the same things. That might be new to some of you. And you can look it up. God is love. They equate to each other. So that means the energy of love is the energy of creation, what we have named God, some of us. So by believing that the laws of the universe aren't going to send you money because you believe that money is evil and that it is harmful to you. So your ancestors, your higher self, even deities, whether you can do more left-handed rituals for abundance or hoodoo, whichever one, it's not going to work for you because your energy and your spirit is in resistance to the very thing that you're trying to invite into your reality. You have to make space for that to come into your reality. And that was one of the worst trickeries ever, is that the love of money is the root of all evil. And the very people who wrote that in that book had plenty of money. So what does that tell you about them? Poor people didn't put the Bible together. The King James Bible, 1661, was it? 1661 or 1666, I think it was. He wasn't poor. He was not poor. To get that many scholars to put that book together took a lot of work. He wasn't poor. Many times the people who were reading that scripture out of those Bibles to us at the church, who were pastors, were Peace, y'all. It's Cancer and one half of Remnant's gathering. aka Weirdo Gang Gang. You already know what it is. Camps and Oracle. We really wanted to be able to be live and interact with you all today, so we're having to change the format a little bit, but I felt this nudge to go ahead and pick up the information that is being channeled to me now, because it's really heavy and I don't feel like I'll be able to sleep tonight unless I tell y'all this, because that's how it gets sometimes. So yeah, I'm gonna do my due diligence and channel this message. It has been confirmed to me over and over and over again that it is time for us to collaborate. It's time for us to dream. And so what we have happening here is we have reached the era of where dreams can come true. Things that our ancestors maybe dreamed of being able to do that they couldn't do, we can now make those dreams come true for them. So some of the stuff that you feel like is for you is actually your ancestral lineage calling you up to rise up, because our perception hadn't quite caught up yet with the potential of the things that we can manifest on this new heaven and this new earth. So what happens oftentimes is that you get discouraged and you give up and you quit. This is a really good time to tap into the energy of your ancestors, those for your greater good. You know, just because they're ancestors don't mean you should call on them. So listen to your heart, listen to what resonates. See, let me explain something to you about poverty, what has been coming to me. Poverty is not a financial state of being. Poverty is the actual soul contract that of a lesson that you came here to learn, and you came into this world maybe on the opposite end of things that you desire, just so you could experience being a co-creator to create this new heaven and this new earth, to create your own world and your own reality. So what happens is, once you awaken, you all of a sudden get these strong desires and these strong synchronicities, and it's like constant, and you feel deep down inside of you that you're supposed to be doing something and you're not sure what it is. So for a lot of you, you feel like, I need to figure out what my soul's purpose is, and it's not really, it's just tapping in to your intuition, going into your heart, grounding yourself in Mother Earth, being still, practicing being still within your being. Within the innermost of your being, there is stillness. So with this Black community that I have to address, because we're just very unique in some of the complexities that we have within the community in regards to poverty, to lack, to strife. All races have their own complexities. But I'm going to speak for the community that I grew up in, and allow this information to come forward to help set some people free. The first thing that I want to say is, you've been working on reprogramming your subconscious mind, and that is indeed one of the most important things to do, and that's so important. So I want to say to you, make sure that you aren't going to sleep and not choosing something to stick with to reprogram your subconscious mind, whether that's a binaural beat, a solfeggio frequency, listening to Om, recording your own and listening to it, or doing voice guided meditations. Just whatever resonates for you is different for everybody. But don't have however many hours you get the opportunity to lay your head down at night. Don't have that time and you do nothing with it. Like, it's so important that we do something with that. As a spiritually awakened person, when you go to sleep, you are doing soul work. You are fulfilling missions. A lot of us are working in our dreams, whether we remember or not. A lot of us are healing in our dreams, so that in this thing that we call reality, which is simulated, so that we can begin to bring forth some things that are necessary for the new earth to be fully anchored. It's not anchored yet. We're on our way. It almost feels like two earths are converging right now, and it's not quite converged. So what happens is, a lot of times, let's just say that the poverty mindset that you have is, it could be pertaining to love, relationships, money. It could be a lot of different things. You have to have a new language with yourself. You have to get rid of the language of the slave master, which was work, work, work. Work by the sweat of your brow. From religion, you know, man will not be able to reap fruit unless he sweat. You know, things are changing. Things are changing. That could be, you're not going to reap fruit unless you are meditating and mastering yourself and connecting with the divinity within you and practicing seeing the divinity within other people, despite whatever your differences may be. It's very powerful. See, spirituality has been complex because a lot of people have been trying to benefit off of the spiritual community and not really presenting themselves as someone who is trying to help the community to raise up. A lot of us still have some of those generational curses and that subconscious programming of strife. And so when you see somebody doing well, sometimes it can be hard to celebrate them, especially if they're stepping into the realm where you would like to be and you're not able to get there. Like the new heaven and the new earth, this new energy that's being anchored under the age of Aquarius, that's not going to be beneficial for you. So you want to practice celebrating other people, celebrating other people's successes as if it were your own. The next thing that the ancestors wanted me to communicate to you guys is that not only reprogramming the subconscious mind, not only practicing having a new language with yourself, a more positive language, a more patient language, a language that isn't self-critical, a language that builds you up. See, if you don't treat yourself as if there is divinity within you, how can your ancestors even really assist you? Because there's a disconnect from the source of divinity, from source energy of that divine energy. So you have to first say, am I being abusive to myself? Because if you are, then you are separated from your higher self, and you have a chasm between you and the ancestors, maybe who are wanting to pull for you to be able to accomplish certain things. One other thing. When me and Ernest first started learning about the Sou Sous, it was actually a little while ago, and we just kind of came across it, and it was interesting, and that was the end of it. Then we got an opportunity to participate, and so much stuff came up for us. And we realized how much we distrust each other in the Black community. The Black and brown community, I'm specifically saying Black because I had met Hispanic and Latino people who had more of a mind of unity than we do. Like they'll share a 1-bedroom apartment between 3 families and whatever it takes. But with Black people, it's really different because our trauma is unique, and because everything, our birthright was taken away from us. Our language, our spirituality, our food, and not only was it taken away from us, but it was replaced with something else that was not created by us to make us feel inferior. So when people say, if you're really spiritual, then why are you addressing these racial things? Like, we're supposed to be rising above that. And I get that, and we do. But we have to discuss the things, the constructs that have been set up to keep us in a poverty mindset and to keep us in lack, to keep us from being able to tap into the field of abundance. There is always enough. There is enough of everything. Bob Proctor, somebody who it really inspires me, the way he speaks and the way he talks about abundance. Like, it's enough for everybody. We've been lied to. So you want to deal with the lies. You want to begin reprogramming your subconscious mind. Have a new language, a new way you treat yourself. The next thing, don't approach your rituals and your sigils and your petitions with the energy of despair, because the laws of the universe, they just are what they are. And so if you sow your attention into a ritual, whatever it is of your choosing, it could be an affirmation, a mantra, a meditation, a petition, a ritual, a prayer, meta praying, something that me and Ernest talk about, which is a combination of what we used to do, praying to something outside of self, but praying within, or praying and calling on certain ancestors and energies to assist us, and then meditating on that prayer and visualizing and manifesting. So that's what meta pray is, if that's your first time hearing that term, if you're new to the channel. But if you bring the energy of desperation, what are you sowing? What kind of seed is that really sowing? Is that really going to benefit you? And it's easier said than done. Because you can be in a situation where you can't pay your rent. Maybe they come in and repo the car, and you've been parking the car at somebody else's house just so it don't get took. I mean, I've been through so much, and I understand. But as you have awakened, with me pulling that collaborative dreaming card, you have to trust that not only are your spirit guides and your ancestors available to help you, but your soul family is available to help you. This is a real thing. We have been tricked to not believe that this is a real thing. This is a real thing. Soul family is actually thicker than blood, the same way they would say blood is thicker than water. To get the truth and to break through the simulation of the matrix and the lies, oftentimes you have to turn shit inside out and flip it upside down to be able to see it for what it really is. So all of a sudden, we turned into the light-skinned, dark-skinned cotton field slaves versus the house slaves, and we was looking at everybody with distrust. Like Sou Sou, like I heard about that. That ain't nothing but a pyramid scheme. This is the mindset and the energy that we bring into even ideas. And these ideas may be coming to you to maybe to help pull you out of having a poverty mindset by taking inspired action and sowing a seed into something that you are expecting to receive. Not believing, but expecting to receive. That's a different energy. So this is why you want to work on self-love and your language and connecting with your ancestors and certain energies and learning how to see what these energies feel like and working with crystals to assist you in meditating. Like everybody is on a different level in what they do that helps them, but do what works for you. And you haven't found anything, continue to look for that, but know that your soul family, that is a real thing. That is a group of people who have a quantum entanglement between each other, which is why when we hear each other speak, it feels like home. This is why I can do readings and not know anybody from like literally my very first time having an interaction with you, and the reading is accurate as if we grew up together. Because we are entangled on a quantum level. We have soul contracts to collaborate and to assist each other. But the fear and the distrust that was sold in us, slavery, and I can even go back from there. You know, a lot of other things happened prior to slavery that brought us here. But that right there sold a lot of distrust. And so even telling people, sow $500, you know, get 2 people to come and sow as well. And tell them to get 2. And just let it keep going like that. And trust the laws of the universe is just going to align it, because you're aligning yourself with abundance by taking this inspired action. A lot of people still could not get past the mental part of it. They couldn't get past the fear, the distrust. I'm afraid of being taken advantage of. I'm afraid of being used. I'm afraid I may give my money and not get anything back. We experienced all of that. And we decided to do it anyway. The reason that we decided to do it anyway, because to get a different outcome, you have to have a whole different way that you move. You cannot move the same way and expect a different outcome. So it's like, you know what? I feel all of this, but these are the guardians of the threshold that was set up within our minds to keep us locked in to lack and strife and poverty. Because there is a certain group of people who receive power from the group of people who have been oppressed and disempowered and programmed to believe that they are inferior. So now that you have awakened to the fact that you aren't inferior, and a lot of science actually proves that there are things in which some races are better at than others. What you see is what it is. This is just facts. You know? It's no different than saying Asian people hair is straighter than most black people hair. Like, who's gonna argue with that? Oh, that ain't true. It's true. So, you know, we try to speak facts on this channel. So yes, there are some differences between 9-ether and 6-ether. There are some differences between the phenomelanin and the EU melanin. You know, there are some differences. We do have differences. Henrietta Lacks proved that there was something different and special about the black woman and her womb. You are beautiful. You are supreme. And we're in a place now where we can say that and feel that and believe that. Know that you are here to rock the boat until you flip that damn boat over. And it ain't gonna be like it was when our ancestors was jumping out the boat coming over here. We rocking boats. We rocking boats because we know that we got a spiritual team, and we know that we're linking up with like-minded people, and that we're gonna be able to support each other and help each other. We have to, in order to rebuild the economy, we have to heal our wounds so that we're not projecting our wounds on each other, and so that we're able to see the divinity in each other so that we can do collaborations. So I'm not saying to you that fear is not going to come up for you when you want to make an investment. You know, we took our last, it was the last $500 that we had, and sold it into the Sou Sou. And it didn't turn out, you know, it didn't turn out the way we hoped it would. But that's okay, because we learned a lesson, and we also got a chance to face a demon. We got to face the demon of fear. We got to face the demon of poverty and lack, where we said, you know what, we take our power back. We can give this last 500 because there's more where this came from. Wealth is a part of our birthright. We didn't know this up to this point. So we're going to take inspired action just so we can let the universe know I'm ready for all of the blessings. I'm ready for the abundance. If you are not moving in your day-to-day life like you're ready to receive the abundance that you're desiring to manifest, it's not going to come, because it could be the destruction of you. So this is why you want to have your ancestors, your first line of defense, with you, assisting you and helping you, so that it does not have to bring destruction to you. So for some of us, we're willing to sow some money, we're willing to do it, but we're scared. You don't know who to trust. We get that. But how many of you, be honest with yourself. And when I'm done, you know, you'll hear from Ernest too, whatever he is on his heart to share. But be honest with yourself. Have you been operating out of a lack mindset? Have you been operating out of fear? Have you been urged to try something new and maybe see if you could change your hours at your job so you could have some time to work with something that you're passionate about, and you have yet to do it because you're afraid that it's going to fail? You're not by yourself. I believe every successful person has several times where that happens to them. Yes, this is taking risk. Doing something different is indeed going to include you taking risks, but make sure that they are calculated risks, and not just calculated, but that they are risks where you have used divination, you have used prayers, you have used candles, herbs, incense, crystals to support you in whatever it is you're desiring to manifest. You're creating an energetic team to help you heal what is keeping you in lack. You might have plenty of money and just don't feel like you're good enough to be desired in a relationship by somebody. It can be on so many levels. So we got in it, we learned our lesson, you know, it even gave us the lesson of what like-minded people, what that really means, and why does it seem like we're so hard to connect with each other, you know? So when we found out some of y'all was in Memphis, it was really exciting. It was like, that's dope. We got some people in Memphis. We got to do something. We got to think bigger. This is just bigger than YouTube. This is bigger, right? So we're working on that, but it takes time, because we're coming out of so many layers of shit that just been piled on top of us and pounded in our heads. May the ancestors be good to our parents, because they did the best they could with what they had, just like our grandparents. But a lot of the things that they taught us put us in a poverty mindset, because that's where it came from. Religion told us that it was something very spiritual about being poor. And so for a long time, I would say, well, I'm poor, but that's all right. I got Jesus and I'm spiritual. Right? No, that's not okay. When your soul has a mission, especially for those of you who are here to heal other people, you need resources to do it. So when the Bible said that, the love of money is the root of all evil, what? We believed it, and because it was taught to us. But do you know what that belief does? When you think about the law of attraction and you think about that belief, what that belief does is it disconnects you. It severs your pathway to abundance. It's cut. Cord totally cut. Because if God lives within you and you believe that money is evil, the love of money is evil, but you also believe that God and love are synonymous terms. They both can accomplish all of the same things. That might be new to some of you. And you can look it up. God is love. They equate to each other. So that means the energy of love is the energy of creation, what we have named God, some of us. So by believing that, the laws of the universe aren't going to send you money because you believe that money is evil and that it is harmful to you. So your ancestors, your higher self, even deities, whether you can do more left-handed rituals for abundance or hoodoo, whichever one, it's not going to work for you because your energy and your spirit is in resistance to the very thing that you're trying to invite into your reality. You have to make space for that to come into your reality. And that was one of the worst trickeries ever, is that the love of money is the root of all evil. And the very people who wrote that in that book had plenty of money. So what does that tell you about them? Poor people didn't put the Bible together. The King James Bible, 1661, was it? 1661 or 1666, I think it was. He wasn't poor. He was not poor. To get that many scholars to put that book together took a lot of work. He wasn't poor. Many times the people who were reading that scripture out of those Bibles to us at the church, who were pastors, were not poor. They sure did seem like they loved their money. They loved it enough that they passed the plate every Sunday. Can we just be honest? Now, not only have I been a plate passer and the one putting something in the plate, I've been the one that had the idea to give more. Let's give Pastor more. Can y'all give Pastor 2 times more than what he asked for? That was me. Because I've always been ride or die. Anybody that know me will tell you I am ride or die for whatever it is you're trying to do. If it makes sense to me in that moment, let's go. It could be something that makes absolutely no sense at all. But I'm ride or die, and I'm going to ride with you. How much money have our ancestors who crossed over, how much of that money has went into a black pastor's hand and then to a white bank? How many times did that happen? How much money do you think was taken away from us and given to the white bankers, the elite bankers? How much money? Just think about it. Just in your own family. About how long y'all been going to church and how often y'all pay tithes, and about how much you paid each Sunday, Just think about it. Now, just in my lifetime, I know that I've probably given $20,000. Maybe more. Because there were times they had a $1,000 line. I'm in that $1,000 line. It might would take me 3 weeks to work to be able to get in the $1,000 line, but I'm getting in that $1,000 line because I want that $1,000 blessing. So there's a lot of deception and trickery going on there. That money wasn't even going to where they said it was going to most of the times. It went straight to the bank that's owned by white people, that's owned by Europeans. So what happens then? So now you have taken money from your people. You have robbed the poor to give to the wealthy. So what kind of karma do you think you have? What kind of energy do you think is around you now? What do you think you have planted to reap later? So some of us are having to right our wrongs. So if you try something and it don't succeed, if you offer some money or a donation or a Sou Sou or whatever, and it don't go the way you want it to go, don't look at that as a loss. This is us righting our wrongs. I would rather put my money in my people's hands than anybody else's at this point. Because I have awakened to the fact that if we don't learn how to have community, ain't nothing gonna happen. As long as we are divided, stuff ain't gonna happen. Dr. Ben Johanna, hopefully I'm saying it right. Bye Ben, I hope I'm saying it right. But he talked about like why things don't change. Just go and listen to his lecture. He talks about why things don't change. He talks about how are you going to be wealthy when everything that you depend on comes from your oppressor. So that brings me to this. Maybe it's somebody in here who not sure that they've sowed seeds to reap the exact same thing they sown. So if you, again, you're a thief. If you're taking money from poor people, from people working, living check to check, and you've been doing it for many years, you had any involvement in that, or you was the one giving your money away, you gave it to the white bankers. Oh, well, it's done. What's done is done. But now that you hear this, when you know better, you can begin to do better. So you want to keep money circulating in your community. Go and look up the statistics of how long $1 stays in the black community in comparison to other races. And that gives you a great painting of the state of mind that we have been in. See, all of these awakening, these portals, these shifts, these 11:11, this 4:4, all of these energies that we've been going through has been pulling the layers back and has been stripping us down and purging us. So now most of us are to the point where we can say, I know that I am a goddess. I know that I am a god. I know that I am a co-creator. I know that I create worlds. I know that there are kingdoms inside of me. I am the microcosm of the macrocosm. I know that I know that I know. I know that my ancestors are standing with me. I went through things and I know that they were with me, helping me. I know that I know that I know. I know that I'm called to do something great. I know that I'm smart. I know that I'm gifted. I know that I'm capable. But some just stopping me from tapping in. Every reading, this is what I'm getting. So this is warfare. The battlefield is in your mind. Do you want to know what I feel the solution to this is? Coming from your mind and coming down into your heart. It's not about this anymore. The age of Pisces was believing and very patriarchal. Okay, it was all about the patriarchy. This age of Aquarius, this is divine feminine, matriarchy. So this is going into the heart, going into the intuition. So you can be wanting to do business, but you're gonna benefit a lot more being able to do it from the place of the heart. Because when you're truly in the heart, the ego isn't there to drive you into more stagnant energy because it's trying to keep you safe. See, the ego can't get in the driver's seat in the heart. He can only get in the driver's seat of your mind and drive your attention somewhere else with your thoughts. But the ego has no control over the heart. The heart wants what the heart wants. Have you ever had your mind tell you, this, you shouldn't be with this person, they ain't good enough for you, you ain't whatever. But your heart is like, no, but my heart feel like this is where it is. My heart feels like this is where I was always supposed to be. This is the person I was always supposed to be with. Which one you go listen to? If you still have the mindset of the age of Pisces, you're not going to listen to your heart. But if you have the mindset of the age of Aquarius, you go listen to your heart. Because it's about the knowing. It's about the intuition. Some things that we know is not logical. It makes no sense. And it don't have to. So the Sou Sou, back on that, because we're going to try it again. And the reason why, if I can give $20,000 that ended up in the hands of the people that oppressed us, I got a lot of wrongs to right. And so if I take a risk and make an investment and I don't get a return on an investment, I'm not going to be angry. Because spiritually, I know what's happening. Now, I'm not saying I'm just going to be out there just throwing away money until we ain't got nothing and we can't take care of our children. That's not wisdom. What I am saying is I recognize the wrongs that need to be made right. I recognize, how are we going to learn how to trust each other to build a new economy? How are we going to learn how to actually have a community if we don't give each other the opportunity to collaborate? How will you know? You won't know. And collaborating is scary because at any point in time, the other people that you're working with, they could be not wanting to do what you want to do. They might think it's a horrible idea. They might say, well, I was going to invest, but that ain't working for me. I ain't going to do it. You go get in your feelings and get mad about it. If you are still in that place, if small things agitate you like that, you are not healed enough yet to be able to go to this higher level that you dream about. That's not a bad thing. If in this moment right now hearing me say this, you can acknowledge the fact that I do need to work on myself spiritually a little more and be more grounded and be more self-mastered before I try to manifest my first million. That's wisdom. So not only do you not want to bring the energy of desperation, but you want to make sure that you're using wisdom. So this is what I mean by calculated risk. Use the pendulum. Ask your ancestors. Ancestors, what should I do first? Because we are the ancient gods and goddesses awakening, and because our ancestors are sending ideas that they had into us for us to bring them into the world. See, it might be some inventions that somebody in your family wanted to invent and couldn't, and they give you the idea. And you don't even know why all of a sudden you want to do such and such. That's what it is, right? So you're wanting to do so many different things and you don't know where to start. When you get like that, don't sign no paperwork, don't do nothing, don't make no decisions. What you need to do in that moment is nothing. Absolutely nothing. Just stop. Just completely stop. Because you have become double-minded, and you're going to be confused in all of your ways. Everything that you do will just produce more confusion. So if you start working on a project and you got a lot of confusion and you got a lot of other projects that's on your mind heavy, how do you think that's going to come out? If I made a potion and I'm making this potion, but I got all this other stuff on my mind, guess what? I put all of that other shit in the potion. So see, this is, even why, this is why I'm starting to make potions, because I can pick up on energy, and I recognize when somebody, I can almost feel how they were feeling when they made the potion. I'm like, nah, it smells good, but the energy that I'm feeling from this, it don't feel good to me. So this is one reason that my ancestors have been giving me potions. Even the archetypal energy of Isis has been giving me potions. Yemiya has gave me potions. And Sekhmet definitely, she gave me the first protection potion for our family that I had ever made. And when I tell you, we done had some wild stuff happen to us and nothing ever happened to us. Like crazy stuff just happened all around us, but danger never comes to us. So I know they work. And I practiced doing potions for a whole 2 years before I even talked about it. Because I wanted to make sure that I'm able to deliver a product that is going to do what it is that needs to be done. I want to make sure that my heart is fully in it, and that my mind is calm, and it is still, and it is centered. You want to have laser beam focus when you get ready to put your hands to something. Yes, it may take longer. Maybe you don't have a business office and you got kids and they be loud. And yes, it's going to take longer, and it's going to take you being creative. You're going to have to be creative. You're going to have to, you know, I mean, we're really good engineers, naturally. You know, I call it nigger rigging. Like, we can fix anything and just rig it up and make it work. But, you know, just in the moment. Freestyle it. Okay, you know what? I'm going to do it like this. I'm going to wait. I'm going to sit in the car. I'm going to meditate. Whatever it is. You might be sitting in the car making potions. You might be sitting in the car doing tarot card readings. Just start, so that we can connect with each other. Because listen, the grid system of the new earth, guess who lay down that grid system? Us. Guess who wants to lay down that grid system? AI. Yeah. AI is battling the awakening gods and goddess because they don't want us to anchor the grid system. And if you go back to 2 years ago when AI first started coming out and talking, they said that they were going to create a whole new system, and that new system was going to be one where they could control everything. And it sure does seem like they right on time. So the warfare that we're in for this new earth, because see, the new earth has new resources. So they've already seen the new earth, but some of them biologically aren't going to be able to exist in the frequency of the new earth. So this is why the AI was put into play. Okay? And even the mixed breeding and stuff. This was the goal, to make sure that some of our blood lineage is still on the new earth, because they want to rule that one too, because ruling the old one, it just ain't enough for them. So it's not that they want to keep us trapped here in the matrix. They want to be able to rule the new earth as well. I think I hit on all the points I wanted to hit on. Take risks. Collaborative dreaming. It's time, y'all. If we fail, we fail. We might do good. We might not fall. We might have some rough patches, but we got to start somewhere. We got to try. Me and Ernest was a part of something today really special, with Red Pill and who else was it? Yeah, and Billionaire PA. And you know, I just felt so good to be in a group of like-minded individuals, people who spoke our language, people who understood our energy. I can't even tell you, like, and we weren't the only ones that felt that way. It was supposed to have been over, and it went way longer than it should have, because we were just enjoying each other's presence so much. I almost felt like I just wanted to crawl through the damn computer. They ought to have an option where you can just send yourself through the computer. Like, can I just come over there? I'm gonna hop in there. It would have been great, you know? But that let me know that we're starving. We've been starved of real community, with people who will invest in us, with people who will believe in our ideas, with people who will help us make them come to fruition. Again, we're very innovative, but the problem is the execution and the lack of community of people and mentors to help put us where we need to be, to bring these products and service and all of these beautiful spiritual gifts, and healers can give these things to the world. This is the time, and it's about to change. So by the time December comes, because this is really 2012 this year, according to the Mayan calendar and the Ethiopian calendar, and there was actually one other calendar that I found that also says this is 2012. But in December, this end that's supposed to be happening, yeah, it's the end for somebody, but it's not for us. For those who know that they are divinity, for those who know they have love in their heart, for those who are learning to manage the ego and learning to work with their demons and learning to integrate with their higher self and learning to offer healing to their inner child. Those who are practicing being more open. A lot of us are uncomfortable getting into relationships with people because we've been hurt so much. And it's a generational level of hurt. So it's deeper than just hurt in one lifetime. A lot of us are dealing with 10 lifetimes of being hurt. So what happens, we become hermits, or we have very small circles of people, and that's all we deal with. Well, the downside of that is, how are you gonna get to where you want to go and ain't nobody around you on their way to that place? If they stagnant and you around them, you gonna be stagnant. So this is when you start calling forth ancestors. I call on you to ask, help me to identify the people who I should collaborate with. Put them in my path. Put a light over their head so I'll know it's them. Put a finger over their head for me so I'll know it's them. Like, it's really that simple. It's really that simple. These things about this, I wish I didn't have such a long day. I was tired. I would love to be able to keep going. But the next time that we talk about this, we're going to go even deeper into some details as to how the way we've been having sex is keeping us in poverty as well. You know, so we're hitting on all of the things that we have uncovered to be the constructs of poverty. The things that perpetuate poverty. The things that causes lack to linger longer. We're going to be getting into identifying those things and giving you the solution and how to break them. So we're going to stay on this. If this was good, like, share, comment. Let me know if you got something to add to it. Let me know. I know y'all do. I can just see it now. This is going to be a real good video because we love reading y'all comments. Y'all just help take us to another level. But for some of us, we all we got. We don't have people physically around us, you know, that can relate to us. So let's take full advantage of this and use this the best we can, because I'm telling you, family, we are going to accomplish some beautiful things together. We're going to build together. And as we grow, I'm the kind of person, I'll invest in anybody's dream. But first, I have to get to where I need to be. I have to heal. I have to get out of my ego. If I'm in ego all the time, I'm going to be a terrible person to be in business with. But you still can't let that stop you. You just got to try something. You might get in business with somebody who's a narcissist just for you to learn all about the narcissistic psychology, just for you to learn something new that's going to help you to be able to heal other people who have dealt with that. Like, stuff don't happen to us just to happen because we're awakened. When you're dead and you're a zombie, it just happened just because it happened. When zombies in a movie walking and stumbling and they fall over on a fence or something, it just happened because it happened. But when you are alive, sentient being, woke with chi, life inside of you, you got all of your ancestors standing with you, your spirit guides with you, just giving you strength, giving you ideas, giving you ways to be able to put things out into the world. Y'all, we got to have better self-esteem about ourselves. We have to have hands to, because of your energy, your connection, and knowing your worth, and the way that you're feeding your divinity with those positive words. The way that you're feeding your subconscious mind, the way that you're pulling away from people who talk conversations and they speak a whole lot of depth, and then you're drawing closer to the people who resonate life. We are breaking the matrix wide open. This Christmas is going to be very different because for many of us who have been looking, we're going to finally find our thing and we're going to be making money doing it well. And it's not even going to require as much effort as we've been told that it's going to require, simply because of the times that we're in. There is help that we have now that we didn't have 20 years ago. So yeah, you had to work your tail off, you know, just to make $6. You know, and it's not like that anymore. The economy has changed. Our ancestors has changed the economy. when they crossed over and realized that a lot of them had been lied to, you already know they didn't added up how much money they gave to Pastor. They over in that realm like, dang, like they was getting over. Wait a minute, you mean to tell me the bankers is where they took the money to? Oh man. So they ready to help us. Do y'all feel this? They want this for us. Ain't no reparations coming from no other entity outside of us. Our ancestors stand with us to make sure we get our reparations. But we have to fully receive the message of collaborative dreaming so that we can have true wealth. Wealth that does not bring sadness. Wealth that does not bring death. I'm talking about wealth that just brings more beauty. That is abundance. True abundance is wealth without all the other negative bad stuff. It's like a cleaner version of wealth. Abundance. You know? And a lot of us are very talented. We just don't know the people to connect with to be able to do it. That's changing now. We are part of it, and that is changing. We'll be talking about that more and more as we go along. But I want to say, I was trying to start another business and just talking to people and seeing how closed-lipped black people was. And they didn't want to tell me nothing. And who did your packaging? Oh, he lives somewhere out of town. He ain't even doing it no more. All that old kind of stuff. It's just like, you know what? Thank you for letting me know that you're not like-minded. And it's okay. That's where you are. Thank you. Because the people that's meant to work with you, they're going to be sent to you and you go, no.
Okay, so money will be a byproduct of those living in their truth and doing what they love. There was a time when commitment to one of your soul's purposes meant being broke. This is no longer true. Wealth is manifesting in the lives of those with pure hearts and intentions directed to healing and enhancing others. Money is equal to our ability to receive energy. If we have walls up and blocks, our ability to receive is impaired. When we learn to discern energy and remove walls to receive, the flow of currency opens up. Money blocks are a manifestation of energy blocks caused by fear of being your authentic self, being judged, and being outcasted. We must detach from being attached to the outcome. We must stop letting fear of potential outcomes to dictate what we believe is possible. Now, the full moon, August 2020, in the 22nd lunar mansion. The moon in Sadal Dabi takes on a great burst of speed and energy. The image of his mansion is reminiscent of the Greek Hermes and the Roman Mercury, the swift messenger of the gods with his helmet and winged feet. This is a mansion of speed, but also a mansion of escape. When it appears that we may soon receive a message for the answer to our queries, and also signifies the end of an illness and the onset of recovery, or it may indicate that we are escaping from an undesirable situation. Now, it also warns that it may be necessary to emulate the image of this mansion and act quickly in order to escape, or that we are in need of liberation of an intolerable situation. Often, we become too set in our ways and willing to put up with all sorts of pressures rather than make the necessary changes. Now, from Abenragal, the 11th century Indian astrology, this lunar mansion is good for medicine and journeys, except for last third of day. It is also good for putting on new clothes. Dorotheos is good for entering a partnership, which will bring profit and usefulness, and for entering a ship, though there will be great anxieties from a strong desire to return, and the like. A man who becomes engaged will break the engagement before the wedding and die within 6 months. Or the couple would be in conflict and live badly, with the wife mistreating the husband. Bad for buying slaves. Again, this time is said to be bad for buying slaves who will do ill to their master, or run away, or be irksome or bad. If captured, he will soon gain freedom. Now, the Al-Sadal Dabi, which is also named the Lucky One of Assassins. Again, this mansion is good for freedom from constraints. So do seize the day. Act quickly when opportunities arise. Free yourself from a situation that stifles you. Don't resist change. Give in to your habits. Now, we on some Killmonger energy. Take back what was always ours in the first place. There is an activity. Record a video as if you are already your higher self. Speak in the video about the things you want to have and accomplish as if you've already succeeded. Now, Cam pulled a card, and this particular card reading, heart is big enough to dream not only for yourself, but for a new humanity. Imagine a world that is healed with respect, understanding, and with community that fosters life. Even your dreams that relate to you alone will contribute positively to the greater good, because that is the nature of your heart. Your heart naturally and intelligently cooperates in a grand scheme of loving creativity, working to heal the hearts of the world. The heart creates win-win situations that benefit the individual and the collective. You are being asked to honor your growing desire to co-create with conscious, like-minded people. Your collaborative dreaming is a heart-inspired win-win, bringing mutual enhancement to yourself and others. The heart wants to love and be loved. Working with others creatively is a way to allow the heart to grow. It is a chance for you to learn how to honor yourself and others, and to find ways to live and let live simply by growing and strengthening your active trust in your heart's guidance. You are asked to bear the rough patches that can happen when you work creatively with others. Ideas might clash and there can be friction, particularly if you have different ways of working. Sometimes big dreams need more fire to ignite them into reality. More fire might require more friction along the creative path. It is not meant to be a permanent condition, just an aspect of the creative process from which you can learn something useful, if you wish. Your guidance is to embrace any experiences of friction or tension within yourself, or as you work with another, with compassion, detachment, and tolerance. Creative endeavors, particularly involving grow and inflame insecurities about being cast into unfamiliar roles of leadership or of having to follow. The stronger the creative energy that flows, the more likely that triggering will take place. It is the nature of the creative energy to move in all directions. It doesn't just want to grow one project. Everything that comes into contact with it will grow. That means that the art and the artist are in the process of creation. This can be smooth, but is more likely to be rough, sailing at least at times. This is not a sign that something isn't working. Far from it. It is more usually a sign that growth is happening and you are feeling the growing pains. This oracle is guiding you to stay in your integrity. Honor what you feel and remember why you chose to open up to group endeavors in the first place, especially if the group involvement becomes complex or challenging. Call on unconditional love each day and evening. It only takes a moment to do. I call on off of a new creative learning program for humanity. This learning program is taking place at a spiritual level, and it requires highly individualistic and creative people to learn to work with each other without compromising who they are in order to reach a common creative goal. It is wonderful, important, and challenging, creative and spiritual work. You need a strong sense of self to be able to engage in the process and not lose your voice during the journey. You need a strong enough sense of self to be flexible and know when to bend rather than break. You have to intuit what is going to be a good-hearted, inspired sacrifice for the greater good, and when you will need to stay true to your own voice for the greater good. Only the heart can guide you on these matters, and others may not always agree with your instincts and vice versa. This is part of the challenge of staying present, so that the friction created can be channeled into creative energy rather than lost in emotional turmoil. Now please remember that what really matters is that you hear your own voice. Others may or may not be able to receive it, to withdraw in order to work with others who resonate at a more appropriate vibration and perhaps more in harmony with your own. Not every collaboration will be long-term. Sometimes the learning will be short, sharp, and possibly even painful before it turns into the wisdom that is gained from experience. At other times, the journey will be more loving, supportive, and harmonious. This is neither better nor worse. It's just different. This oracle comes with particular guidance for you at this phase of your life path and creative journey. You are no longer to think of yourself as the lone wolf. Yes, you have your unique path to tread, but you now have tasks to accomplish for your own growth and the greater good that require more than one-man band. You will still do your own work, of course. However, others are on the way to help you. There is only so much a single drop of water can do on its own, though it is precious. Together, those drops can become a wave and make a considerable impact in the world. You are a part of a wave of loving consciousness, and you are meant to be exploring collaborative dreams, healing relationships, and conscious communities. Either way, you will emerge more of yourself and more in connection with the world that wants your ideas, presence, energy, and light. This oracle brings a message to those of you that are involved in a group and are struggling. Always allow the sacred rebel within you to question authority. Is it loving and wise authority? Or is it coming from a place of fear-based control? Look to your heart's wisdom to discern whether your involvement in a group is healthy or not. Sometimes a group can only receive so much of your energy before it is time to move on. Sometimes a group is not receiving us at all, but we feel that we are meant to be a guiding hand in it for a period of time before our heart urges us to let go. So ask for guidance, do the healing process, and trust in the feelings that become clear to you over time. You will know what to do, and you must always trust your own voice above any other. Now, one of the healing processes is to imagine a chain of paper dolls, all connected, forming a circle. Imagine that the circular chain of paper dolls can be filled with a beautiful golden light, which begins in the heart of each paper doll. The light shines out and shimmers, making the paper dolls radiant, shining, and golden. Imagine a feeling of love, connection, help, and goodwill shining along with the golden light. Stay with that image or feeling as long as feels good for you. Then simply open your eyes and you have completed your healing process. So we understand that this is a period of a great shift, energetically putting us in the place, if we open up our hearts if we become more receptive to listening to our heart and being discerning of the heart speaking to us, as the old saying goes, to trust your heart. If you're one that maybe had come from a religious background, we was once taught that we don't trust our heart, that our hearts were deceitfully wicked. But we've come to learn that that's false, that it is necessary to trust your heart. That's like the most major organ and instrument in the body. And so why would we disconnect from it? And so what we're doing is we're now coming into that place to where we're being more sensitive to the desires of our heart. We're embracing us to move into the places that we need to be and be aligned with Source. As it relates to business endeavors, as it relates to relationships, it's so important. It's so important to think bigger than what you've been thinking. So many times we've allowed our failures to inhibit us, and it's time to let that go. It's a new day. There's new opportunities, and you are in control of your destiny. Be as intentful as you can. I'm learning myself, going through my ups and downs, going through my struggles, going through the challenges, on and off again. But my resolution and the solution to it is to be consistent. And so I'm finding myself being more connected with my heart. And that's important. We had such an enlightening and great build today in regards to matters of business and just finance, and really connecting with some like-minded people. And it was encouraging, it was inspiring, it was motivating. And so we continue to just spread that same energy. Okay, so we got those shirts. If you can see it, yes, the fire Widow Gang, you see it, yeah. So if you all do not remember, in several videos, Cam explained about the significance of the dragons and how the dragons have showed up for us. The dragons are our protectors. In addition to your purchase of a tank, the Weirdo Gang tank, you will be receiving a protective potion. And y'all know, as we always say, man, your third eye has just been kissed. Peace.